and we were subjected to a range of examinations, although it was hard to tell quite what they were because we were blindfolded. I did get a sense that that they were ready for us to struggle, and I heard one of the doctors talking in English to a nurse about sedating us, and I made it very clear right then that I and actually all three of us would cooperate fully, and there was no need to sedate us because we weren't going to struggle or anything. I mean, you have to get it very straight that it's only in the movies that you try and run off or escape, because when you're certainly in a Pakistani military situation, you behave yourself, and that's out of fear more than anything else. Remember, there's a lot of weaponry around and that sort of thing. So David and I went first through the medical exam, and then David, and who's in his early 30s, and then Leon, who's actually David's father, who's quite a bit older, was given his medical exam, and Leon's the calmest guy in the world. It was only a bit later that he became a little bit rattled, and we wondered why, and we realized that he had been given a electrocardiogram, a heart test, and he couldn't understand why we hadn't been given heart tests. And then he realized why, and it was we imagine it was to see whether he could withstand electric shock treatment, should that have been necessary, and that was frightening. We were taken the first night to a holding cell, which was sort of like, gosh, it was like out of Silence of the Lambs. I mean, it was pretty unpleasant, and we were thrown in there, all three of us, and we had no idea about what it meant to be a prisoner and what it was all about. I remember we asked for a cup of coffee at the first evening, and I mean, we just felt like guests actually rather than prisoners. And although we were nervous, I mean, we wondered how long this was going to take to play itself out, and we had no idea quite how long it would take, and certainly would not have imagined that it would take the time it did eventually. The first night I was interrogated by an officer not of particularly high rank, and I got a feeling then that he was trying to begin a system of process, and he was taking down all the details. And then we thought, in the morning we would have been released, and wow, we'd have a story to tell because we would have spent a night in a Pakistani lockup. So the next day we stayed in the same cell, and there were guys with automatic weapons on the door all night, and it was a little bit like out of a dream. Then it was still we sort of pinched ourselves and couldn't quite believe we were there. And then I think about halfway through the second day, we were told that we were being taken for a medical exam again. And David and I thought, oh, fantastic, that means they're just going to check us over and make us sign something to say we haven't been beaten senseless, and then we're going to be let go. And Leon, who's much shrewder and has a lot more experience in rough situations, he noticed that the guys who came with the blindfolds and chains when we were being taken away, he noticed that the spec of the blindfolds and the chains were different. It was a slightly different blindfold, and instead of with 4 straps, it was with 2, and the chains as well were different. And he noticed that the uniforms of these officers were slightly different, and he said, we're not going to be released he could tell. We said, "What are you talking about?" Of course we are. And Leon said, "No, I think we're going to be traded to another military intelligence unit," which is exactly what happened. We were taken for more of these medical exams, driven all over Peshawar again, and that evening we ended up at a military unit which seemed to be nicknamed the Farm, and the atmosphere there with the guards was extremely frightening. It was very, very calm, and there was something unspeakably frightening about it.